Can any of you respond and say you're convinced he's a franchise quarterback, Gabriel? Can you say that? I don't think, in fairness, you can. And I, for one, want to see Sanders before this season is over to know whether we got to make a deal or trade up to get the best possible quarterback that's going to be available in the draft next year. So, to answer your question, I think we're getting close with Gabriel to get Sanders in there, and let's see what we got with the kid from college.
If he doesn't get promoted from QB3 to QB2, what happens?
What I think happens is that you put even more pressure on Dillon Gabriel in his second start than he had in his NFL debut.
If he's not promoted?
If Shedeur Sanders is not promoted to QB2.
Why is that?
Because then all of a sudden you start to ask all of these questions as to why. There are only 2 quarterbacks on the active roster.
What if I told you the Browns quarterback room just turned into a full-blown reality show and Bruce Drennan's the unhinged host losing it live on TV? He's officially done pretending Dillon Gabriel is the guy. Now he's calling for Shedeur Sanders like he's the chosen one sent to save Cleveland football from eternal pain. Cleveland didn't even realize it needed this kind of chaos, but here we are. Grab your popcorn, because Bruce just went volcanic on air. And the wild part? His meltdown actually makes sense. The airwaves in Cleveland haven't been this fiery since the last time Bruce Drennan lost it on live television. Basically 7 days ago. But this time? Oh, this isn't just your standard bench the quarterback tantrum or coach's clueless meltdown. This is nuclear. Bruce isn't just mad, he's spiritually offended.
If you're looking at the way Dillon Gabriel, the way that offense was constructed, you got the same results, because what you want in your defense is for you to make turnovers. They forced 2 turnovers against the Minnesota Vikings. And Dillon Gabriel still couldn't get it done because he's no threat to force the ball down the field. Even the last play of the game, before Kevin O'Connell called the timeout, the Hail Mary interception. He couldn't even get it to the end zone. That thing fell 5 yards short of the end zone, and it got picked off by Isaiah Rodgers, but it didn't count because Kevin O'Connell.
His veins looked ready to burst like someone swapped his fantasy quarterback for a backup kicker mid-game. He's done with the act. Done pretending Dillon Gabriel's the answer. According to Bruce, it's officially Shedeur Sanders time. And the way he said it, you'd swear the kid was about to descend from the heavens in a gold helmet and a cape stitched from highlight reels. Let's be real. The Browns' quarterback curse is older than some of their fans. Since 1999, it's been one haunted rotation after another. This team could probably find a way to ruin prime Tom Brady if he ever wore brown and orange. Every time a new QB walks through those doors, their talent disappears like a ghost. Their confidence evaporates. And suddenly they're throwing passes like they're targeting the mascot instead of the receiver. Dillon Gabriel's just the latest victim caught in the Browns' Bermuda Triangle of mediocrity, and Bruce Drennan's had enough. He's tired of the excuses, the give him time sermons. And that tired line about the system takes patience. He wants fire. He wants shock value. He wants Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado kid whose swagger could light up downtown Cleveland on a Tuesday night.
Narrative that's now leaking out of Cleveland. It's a question. And the question is, does Shedeur want to play? Is he going out of his way to not be available to play? Now, he did practice on Wednesday. He still has some ailing back issue. To be fair, I'm a doctor. I saw him go to Colorado during the bye week and surprise Dion at Colorado, and he looked fantastic. The Browns now want people to think that Shedeur is inventing.
According to Bruce, Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He's the alarm clock this city's been hitting snooze on for decades. The Browns have been asleep since the Clinton era, and Bruce is shouting what fans have been whispering for years. It's time to wake up, Cleveland. Picture this. Bruce in his studio, voice cracking like an old vinyl, pounding the desk like he's trying to summon the football gods themselves. His veins are glowing Browns orange, and every syllable hits like a right hook. Dillon Gabriel's name gets tossed around like a traffic cone on I-90, and Bruce doesn't even pause to breathe. He's got that, I've been waiting all week for this kind of rage built up. And honestly, you can't even blame him. Dillon Gabriel looks lost out there, like he's trying to solve a Rubik's Cube instead of reading defenses. He drops back, squints downfield, hesitates. And boom, another sack. Browns fans at home don't even yell anymore. They just sit there in silence, staring at the TV like people who've accepted that happiness simply isn't part of the Cleveland experience.
Tony Grossi has come to his senses about Dillon Gabriel. After his observation of Dillon Gabriel in these 4 games that Dillon Gabriel has been on an NFL field, he's finally came to the conclusion that Dillon Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback. Now, in the past, Tony Grossi was vouching for Dillon Gabriel, talking about he was much better than Shedeur Sanders. That's why Cleveland has him as the starting quarterback ever since Joe Flacco has been.
Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is chilling on the bench, shades on, looking like a mixtape cover waiting to happen. Bruce sees that swagger and just snaps. He starts painting Shedeur as the miracle cure to Cleveland's never-ending hangover. And while the Browns are out there losing to teams that couldn't even dominate a decent high school squad, Bruce flips the switch, straight into Shedeur mode. It's like someone rebooted his brain. Suddenly, Bruce is talking about Shedeur like he's part quarterback, part motivational speaker, part lightning strike. You'd think the kid just healed the city of Boulder with a single touchdown pass. According to Bruce, Shedeur's got the arm, the poise, the vision, and the audacity to make Cleveland believe again. That's rich, right? Browns fans have believed in like 27 quarterbacks over the past 2 decades. At this point, they'd believe in a golden retriever if it could throw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Bruce? Oh, he's dead serious. He's pacing, sweating, looking like a preacher mid-sermon. He swears this is it, the turning point Cleveland's been begging for. He's out here treating Shedeur Sanders like Neo from The Matrix.
Dillon Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback. It's time for Shedeur to be in the lineup. Otherwise, you're going to see Miles slamming that helmet even
Has
harder.
to play sometime during the year. I'm not sure if it's right now, but you got to see him 3 or 4 games.
Within the next three weeks or so, we should see Shedeur.
Dillon Gabriel is the glitch, and Shedeur's the reset button. And honestly, you can't even be mad at that take because the Browns' offense looks like a group project where nobody showed up. The play calling's so predictable that even the hot dog vendors can call the next play before it happens. Gabriel's passes are either too long, too short, or aimed at invisible teammates. It's like he's allergic to accuracy. So why not give Shedeur a shot? What's the worst that happens? They lose in style instead of misery. Bruce swears Shedeur's got that primetime DNA, swagger, composure, and that rare ability to make chaos look like choreography. The kid talks like he was built for bright lights. Gabriel, meanwhile, sounds like he's still trying to convince himself he belongs in the same locker room. And that's where Bruce draws his line. He's not talking stats or experience anymore. He's talking confidence. Bruce Drennan, the self-proclaimed expert on quarterback psychology, says Shedeur's swagger is exactly what the Browns need to wake up. Forget stats, forget system. He's betting it all on pure vibes. Then he starts dropping classic talk show buzzwords. It factor, command presence.
You have to squeeze more out of a 3rd and a 5th round pick, though. You can't have it be the competition was Dillon versus Shedeur, and then next year we're just going to act like both of these quarterbacks don't exist.
Well, no, they'll still be here because I think that's crucial. If they did,
you have to get something out of them.
What do you mean?
Even from a backup quarterback standpoint.
Well, isn't that I think the
I'm
plan
agreeing with
Dillon?
you. I'm agreeing with you is the point.
Because I think Shedeur's the one you're not going to get something out of. I think he's the guy that if he's not the starter next year, could just be gone.
If that's what it ends up being, that's what it ends up being. But the point is that you have to find the value in there somewhere between the 3rd and the 5th round pick. You can't just say we took these guys and
you can practically hear the producers off-camera groaning into their coffee. Every time Bruce says Shedeur, the ratings spike. Every time he says Gabriel, the studio lights dim out of shame. Bruce is basically rewriting the Browns playbook live on TV. His master plan? Bench Gabriel, hand the keys to Shedeur Sanders, and let the fireworks fly. He calls it a system shock. Because, of course, nothing screams stable football strategy like tossing a rookie into the NFL equivalent of a blender. Some fans are just shaking their heads, muttering, "Here we go again." But not one of them is turning the TV off, because when Bruce Drennan loses it, it's not sports commentary. It's pure performance art. He starts breaking down Dillon Gabriel's stats like he's reading bad poetry. Completion percentages that sound like gas prices.
Feels like if you're the Browns right now, you need to get a look at everything you possibly can because you're going to be going into a draft where you might have to make another quarterback decision. And I wouldn't want to go into that draft saying, well, I never even got a look at Shedeur. Well, then why'd you even draft him, right? And that's a very, very frustrating conversation for me as somebody that evaluates all these players every year, right? Try to get to well over 300. And I feel like especially getting to talk to, about 45 of them one-on-one at the Combine each year, I generally have a good idea of what guys can and can't do, what the development plan should.
Yardage totals that look like phone numbers. Every number is another stab straight into Cleveland's soul. It's not analysis. It's therapy in chaos form. Bruce is practically reciting the city's pain in metrics, like a poet who traded ink for stats. Then out of nowhere, he pivots hard right into Shedeur Sanders' highlights. College clips, flashy throws, sideline swagger. He's treating YouTube footage like it's sacred scripture. Every spin move, every laser pass, every grin on the sideline. Proof, according to Bruce, that the prophecy is real. And then he does it. The signature Bruce move, the dramatic pause. He leans forward, locks eyes with the camera, and drops a line so heavy you can almost hear the soundboard frying. Something like, "This city deserves better." Translation? Dillon Gabriel, pack your playbook. But buried under all that sarcasm and chaos, Bruce has a point. Cleveland does deserve better. He paints a picture so vivid you can practically see it. Shedeur Sanders leading the Browns like a gridiron prophet, reviving the fan base one touchdown at a time. Gabriel, he's already fading. Forgettable, replaceable.
Maybe Shedeur is better than Dillon Gabriel. We'll find out at some point.
Maybe.
I'm guessing.
Not maybe, Dustin. Little League, high school,
say whatever you want.
Early college, middle college, late college. Right here, October 27th of 2025. Shedeur Sanders is better than Dillon Gabriel.
I'm taking Shedeur at number 2. I'm going to do the obvious right thing there. I'm going to take Shedeur and I'm going to roll with it and see how it goes. But then I'm trading back into the end of the first round with my second.
Another ghost in Cleveland's quarterback graveyard. And here's the wild twist. Bruce's rant actually moves the needle. Cleveland fans aren't logical. They're emotional and proud of it. You give them a spark, they'll build a bonfire by sunrise. By the next morning, the city's buzzing. Radio shows taking calls from fans begging for Shedeur. Meme pages dubbing him Sanders the Savior. It's chaos, but the fun kind. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel's doom scrolling through Twitter like it's a minefield. Every post is another explosion of frustration. Start Shedeur. Bench Gabriel. New era now. The poor guy's mentions are a war zone. The coaching staff? They pretend they don't hear the noise. But come on, everyone hears it. You can't even walk down East 9th without someone yelling out of their car, "Start Shedeur." And that's the crazy part. Bruce Drennan might have just changed everything with one rant. One explosion, and suddenly Shedeur Sanders isn't just a backup. He's a movement. The fans are restless, the energy's electric, and the city smells a storyline brewing.
I can help inject some life into the team as well now that has passed, and this is the team going forward, and they can all focus.
Yeah, I understand the question, Daryl. I don't know how much guys spend time thinking about those type of things. I know it's speculative, and I know there's plenty of news outlets that cover those type of things, and that's what you have to do. But our guys don't spend much time on that. We kind of keep our focus where it is, and so that's the sense I've gotten from the guys.
When Gabriel jogs onto the field, the crowd gives him polite claps that sound more like pity applause. Every missed throw earns a sea of groans. Every stalled drive, a sarcastic, "maybe next time." And somewhere up in the bleachers, a fan holds up a handmade sign that says, "Let Shedeur cook." By halftime, Gabriel's numbers are the kind that would make a Pop Warner coach cry. The Browns are trailing again, the defense looks drained, and then the camera cuts to Shedeur Sanders, cool, calm, chewing gum like he already knows how this movie ends. His body language says it all. Stay ready. Back in the studio, Bruce Drennan's pacing like a man watching destiny unfold live. He's shouting at the screen. You hear that? They know. The fans know. The players know. Even the coach feels it creeping in. The inevitable choice. Finally, it happens. The decision drops. Gabriel's benched. Shedeur grabs his helmet, steps onto the field, and the crowd erupts.
If you look statistically at Sanders' career with his dad at Colorado, a vast majority of the majority of his yardage was picked up on safe screen passes, plus getting the ball into Hunter's hands. You get the ball into this guy's hands, and he can take it all the way. So that's a tough one, but I would...
For a moment, just one electric moment, Cleveland believes again. Maybe it's temporary. Maybe it's pure adrenaline. Maybe it's blind hope. But the stadium is alive. The team's alive for the first time all season. You can feel it. Something's shifting. Bruce Drennan's rant didn't just predict the moment, it sparked it. Sometimes a voice like Bruce's cuts through all the static. Not because he's necessarily right, but because he feels right. He gives Cleveland fans a lightning rod for their frustration, a rallying cry for their faith, and a reason to keep watching a franchise that's been allergic to stability for decades. And maybe, just maybe, he's onto something. Because whether Shedeur Sanders becomes the hero or just the next name in the Browns' quarterback graveyard, one thing's undeniable. Cleveland's ready for change. And if that change comes wrapped in sunglasses, swagger, and a cannon arm, You better believe Bruce Brennan's going to be front and center, yelling about it until his mic straight up gives out. Maybe it's time.
Shedeur start over Dillon Gabriel? Shouldn't he get the start first?
Oh, I don't think so at all.
Well, here's my thinking. They want to see what Shedeur Sanders is. He's a throw-in. He's an asset. Dillon Gabriel's going to be here as their backup quarterback in your mind for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
No rush in getting him in there. Let's see what Sanders can do.
I still think you got to think of the locker room and throwing Shedeur in there from number 3.
You don't think Shedeur is well received in the locker room?
I'm not sure that teammates think he can win.
Maybe Dillon Gabriel's learning curve finally flattened out. Maybe Shedeur's moment has arrived. Or maybe Cleveland's just doing what it always does, building a statue before the first win. But either way, Bruce got what he wanted, the city's attention. And in Cleveland football, that's half the battle. Because when the Browns' offense looks like a bad punchline, sometimes all it takes is one loud man with a microphone to convince everyone that hope wears number 2. In this town, perception isn't just a stat, it's the stat. If Shedeur wins, Bruce becomes a prophet. If he loses, Bruce becomes a martyr. Either way, he's taking his victory lap, and you can already see the grin. That's the magic of Cleveland football. And it's never just about the game. It's about the drama, the delusion, the stubborn belief that no matter how many Sundays end in heartbreak, next week might finally be the one. So whether Shedeur Sanders ends up rewriting history or just adding another tragic chapter to Cleveland's quarterback encyclopedia, Bruce Brennan's rant will live on, not as analysis, but as entertainment. Because only in Cleveland can a meltdown sound like motivation and a benching feel like a rebirth. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this saga isn't ending anytime soon, and you're not going to want to miss what happens next.